This is how I know I'm old, because I am officially done with the all feelings are valid thing. I just watched a video of this girl being absolutely, in her words, devastated because she put down her contact info when her and her boyfriend went ring shopping, so she was notified when he bought the ring. She's like, I wasn't even thinking of it, I just put it down when we were there, and then when I got the email that the order had started processing, my heart fell. I was gonna take the secret to the grave, but then he got home and he knew I was upset, and I just told him what happened. And so he was devastated and they're both devastated. And so they made the jewelry store refund them 20% of the ring because she put her contact information in. She gets another email from them being like, hey, here's the final product, it's done and it's been picked up. And she opened it again. You literally know what the email is at this point. You know what to avoid. You could have blocked the email. She opens it again and she's like, they stole everything from me. The only surprise I had left was when he was gonna pick it up and what the final thing looked like. And now I know, and now I'm never gonna be able to be surprised. You ruined your own surprise. You f*** your surprise. It's not your boyfriend's fault. It's not the jeweler's fault. It's your fault. So while yes, you are feeling big feelings and they are real to you, they're not valid, dog. You ruined your proposal.
I'm not sure which man needs to hear this today, but I know at least one of you does, so please hear me. I know that social media is full of a narrative that you're not doing enough as a man, that you don't provide enough, that you need more money, that you have to, do all of these things and the whining and the dining, or you're not enough. And I just want to encourage you and remind you that you are, let's start there, you are enough, you do have purpose, and that not every woman thinks that way. And a lot of that content is driven from unhealed spaces. And what they do is they take one or two situations that they allowed and they put it on the mass of you, and it is not true. And I just want to remind you to not ever lose sleep over the opinion of sheep.
There is also a segment of the female population that wants to be married, but they don't want to be a wife. They listen to the distinction. They want to be married, but they don't want to be a wife. They want to be married. They want the ring. They want the guy. They want the stuff. They want the provider, the protector, all the lists that we go through of what a guy should provide. And yes, I'm with you. A masculine man should provide those things, but they don't want to be a wife. They don't want to provide for them. They don't want to say, I'm going to be nurturing. I'm going to be supportive. I'm going to be loyal. I'm going to be a good mom. I'm going to take care of the home. I'm going to do all of the things that just I'm inclined as a woman to do.
Do you date outside of your race?
Absolutely.
You like black girls?
I do.
I would hope so.
Do you date outside of your gender?
Oh.
I've always dated outside of my gender. I've never not dated my gender.
This is why so many men feel criticized in marriage. Check this out.
I completely demasculated him. Nothing he did was ever good enough for me. I wanted it done my way. I wanted him to do it my way. Essentially, I want him to be me. But in a male version. I was like, look, this is exactly what it's supposed to look like. Very clear.
So what this woman is acknowledging is what we call moralizing preferences. She had a certain thought process or standard on how certain things should be done or handled within the relationship, and she made it right, and thus she made him wrong. So let me give you some examples. There's no right way to load the dishwasher. There's not a right way to handle your finances. There's not even a right way to parent. Now, obviously, there's certain boundaries, like we're not going to abuse the kids, but there's lots of different methods of parenting that you could potentially choose from. So why do women so often make their way right and make their spouse wrong? Because we moralize our preferences. We assume that because this is what makes sense to me, this is what should obviously make sense to you. And we need to have a huge shift here where we recognize that we're not necessarily right, we're just different. Let me give you an example. You may have an individual who says, while I'm cooking, I want to be cleaning up the pots and pans and putting the spices away actively while I'm cooking, so the cleanup is done immediately. Next person might say, I want to cook, it'll be a big mess. The minute we're done with dinner, I will clean up the kitchen. The third person might say, we're going to have a great big old dinner, and in the morning, I will wake up, do the dishes, and clean up the whole kitchen. None of them are wrong. These are just different preferences. But we tend to think, well, the way that I want things done is better than your way, so I am right and you are wrong. And I'm not saying that sometimes men don't do this, but man, is this a theme among women especially, who really want their husbands to do things their way. Then you have a man feeling insanely disrespected, belittled, and criticized. So we need to come to the table differently and instead say, hey, here's my thoughts and here's why I like it. How would you like to do this? And we become an equal partnership of opinion, because your preference is not better just because it's yours. It's just different.
Overweight single mom who lives with her parents wants man who makes $5 million a year to marry her under a prenuptial agreement that he doesn't have access to the wealth in a trust that she doesn't know the rules of or how much is in it. Does that summarize it?
Yeah, but I get it. I'm overweight.
That's not the key and point. What I'm looking at is the idea versus the reality of the thing.
I think what he's just trying to say, it's a bit not realistic. I mean, $5 million a year.
And I keep saying that these are my standards right now. It can change when I meet the right man. God doesn't know what he's going to put for me.
Why would God send a man with $5 million to suffer?
What?
I'm sorry, wait, how would he suffer? How would he suffer?
If we are to assume for a moment that you think, okay, I'm a prize or I'm the prize or whatever, I wonder if women ever internalize this in their prayer of the thing I want. I want thing, I pray for thing. That you might, right? And if you did, why would God send a man to suffer for you?
Gen Z men are leaning conservative. More 18 to 24-year-old men now identify conservative over liberal, a reversal from even a few years ago. And I'm not just talking about in the United States, I'm talking about around the world. Check out this map showing back to 2005 the way women and men are voting between the ages of 18 and 24. As you can see, in South Korea, the United States, Germany, and the UK, the blue line, men between those ages, is starting to lean right. Even though just a few years before, in each one of those countries, men were leaning more left than right. So what's happened? According to this Axios article, the left is saying that they just aren't smart or they're being manipulated, but apparently this is not the case. They just don't buy what the establishment is selling. COVID hit them hard and politics hasn't offered much since. It's what happens when nobody earns their trust. So to all the Gen Z men out there, do you agree with this? As always, let me know down below.
If there is a single childless man that makes good money, that is handsome, that has emotional intelligence, know how to talk to you right, you having a rough day, he just know what to say. All of these things that we desire, the reality is that he is going to be desired by many women. Every woman thinks that she's a good woman. All of us. The good women think they're good women. The trash women think they're good women. Everybody think that they're good woman. Just because you're a good person or a good woman does not mean that someone has to date you. And it does not make them a bad person because they choose not to.
If a lot of modern women knew this, then they would understand that they're not settling. They would understand that just because you went to a couple of therapy sessions doesn't mean that you're a good person. Just because you making pretty good money on the job doesn't mean that you're a good person. Just because you get your nails done and your hair done every 2 weeks does not mean that you're a good person. A lot of these women out here don't really have the integrity and the behavioral characteristics that men are looking for.
There's nothing attractive about a man who insists on going 50-50, but still expects you to show up looking, feeling, and performing like a queen. Well, here is the truth. We don't show up effortless. We invest time, energy, money, hair, nails, skincare, wardrobe, presents, all of it. It costs money. And let's be honest, most women still earn less than men. So when a man wants to split the check, what he's really saying is, I don't want to provide, but I still expect you to bring everything a woman brings onto a home or to the table. And to the man who gets triggered by this, grow up. Stop being boys in grown man's pants. This isn't about money. It's about energy. It's about polarity, because a masculine man leads. He provides, he plans. Not because a woman can't, but because a high-value man wants to create space for her to receive. And if you are wondering why there is no spark, it's because there's no structure for real chemistry to build. You don't build connection by splitting the bill. You build disappointment. And to the ladies, you are not high maintenance for expecting a man to step up. You're just not available for men who step back. This isn't dating advice, this is return to your power. Thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
Another lie being told. If the man is taking care of a lot of stuff, if a man is doing what a man is supposed to do, he ain't got to take care of everything. He ain't got to pay 100% of all the bills. But if he's the man that you want him to be, pay for the food and go home. Watch a movie and go to sleep. Have a great life.
The number one habit of a confident man, they don't explain themselves. When she asks, why'd you choose that restaurant? Confident men say, just trust me. Insecure men say, oh, well, I read the reviews. They were all really good. The menu looked pretty nice, but I mean, if you don't want to go there, we can go somewhere else, no problem. When someone questions the decisions of a confident man, he simply replies, I'm happy with my choice. But an insecure man feels like he has to go into a 5-minute justification. And even though the restaurant example is a small one, it's indicative of a bigger problem. If you want to put this pattern behind you and all the other patterns that have you appearing as a typical nice guy, I have just the thing for you. My program, Masculine Seduction, was designed for nice guys who want to find their masculine edge. If you want to book a free call with my team to discuss it, comment game plan below and we'll help you out.
Somebody in the comments said, with all due respect, I'm going to have to disagree with you. A smart and thoughtful man would be able to give a very substantive reason as to why he made that choice. Also being kind of dismissive with your question like, oh, just trust me. That's probably not going to go very far. And I agree with that, right? I can be confident and say, well, I chose because I saw the reviews, I saw the menu, and I thought it looked good. What do you think? That's a confident man. A confident man is going to be able to invite questions, comments, concerns, and give you a reason as to why he's doing the things that he's doing. Confident man is, whether you like it or not, he's got a goal in mind, he's got a purpose in mind, and he's going to go towards that goal. He's coachable, he listens, takes your feedback into consideration, but I've got a path and I got to get there. So if you're on the train, great. If you're not, I'll see you when we get there.
How come no one talks about how insane it is that a lot of wives will look at their husbands and say something like, I'm your wife, I'm not your maid? Like, could you imagine a husband saying to a wife, am I your bodyguard or am I your husband? Am I your Uber or am I your husband? Am I your wallet or am I your husband? I could keep going with this, but you get the point. Dudes will spend their entire adult working life providing for a woman and children, give up their hopes and dreams, hobbies, friendships, only to get that in return. Am I your maid or am I your wife? Why does no one talk about this? Why does no one acknowledge this? And mind you, this is coming from somebody who clowns on men often. But this right here, it's never made sense to me, and it never will.
She was a fairy.
Do you think it's harder for a man to date a woman if she has children?
No. Real men will date you even if you have a husband.
I'm not 21 years old anymore. So no, I'm not interested in building from scratch with somebody at this stage of my life. We can grow together. We can even build something together. But your foundation, that's gotta already be set. At this age, having a man tell me that he has his own place and his own car, that's not a flex. That's a requirement. We are far too grown to be celebrating life's basic responsibilities. I'm not saying you gotta be a multimillionaire, but if I've worked this hard to create peace, stability, and purpose in my life, I'm gonna need somebody who can at least meet me there. I don't think that's unreasonable. I'm not even saying I'm looking for perfection, but I am not here to raise, rescue, or rehab anybody's grown son.
You know, I know a lot of guys that say this exact same thing, but for some reason, when they say it, they're crucified.
He's a 4, but he's 6'4".
Taken.
Taken?
Dibs. Mine.
How tall are you?
I'm 5'7".
5'7". How tall do you think I am?
You sound like 6 foot.
No, I'm like 5'8".
All right, well.
Well, what?
I mean, that's fine. That's really fine. Like, it's honestly, like, not even a problem.
I feel like you're not really interested anymore.
Do you hear that? I think I'm getting a call. I
I really appreciate you. I love hanging out. I think I just maybe like you as a friend or something. Sorry. You know, I wouldn't want to date you anyway. You're kind of a bitch, and you're not that pretty. Oh, thanks for letting me know, and I appreciate you. I think you're a really cool chick. I'm happy to keep hanging out as friends. No pressure. Really? Wow.
You're wasting a lot of time right there. A cool guy would have been at the house. Give me the check.
A friend of mine told me the other day that I have second wife energy. Do you guys think that's good? I think it is, right? Yeah, it definitely, because I have a lot of good qualities, but like they're not what you look for as a first-time buyer, and I know that about myself, you know? Like I'm for when you're done with the razzle-dazzle and you just want to chill. Like that's when I come in, you know? I feel like first wife, you're like, how does she make me feel, you know? And then she takes half your stuff and your dog with her. And next wife, you're like, all right, let's be a little more intentional about this decision, you know? Like, let's look at the foundation. Like I'm like when you drink water after eating something sour, and you're like, well, I didn't know like water tasted good, like, you know, like some things are best enjoyed chilled. I feel like I'm gonna be best enjoyed in contrast to a much worse woman that you thought you liked.
So you guys have been asking me, what is my take on men who are not willing to pay for the first date, men who want to go 50-50, men who are just not willing to spend money on women in general. And I'm just gonna say this. I will never again partner with a man who's not willing to spend money on me. That is my God honest truth. Like I will not partner with a man who's weird about money, who's weird about spending money on women, who's not willing to share his resources. I just won't do it. And it's not because like I want a provider or because I want to marry rich or because I don't want to work or because I want to like financially depend on a man. It's more about the fact that a man's willingness to spend money on me reflects something deeper. And that deeper thing shows up in other areas of the relationship I can't quite explain it. But like when I date a man who's not willing to spend money on me, I just don't feel valued or respected by him.
What do you got to say about this, sis?
So I have to talk about this while it's just fresh on my brain. There was a post on Instagram that was like, if I mention that I'm about to get my hair done, my nails done, my lashes done, and I don't see an Apple Pay or a Cash App Zelle sent to my phone, then he's not my type. I don't care how bad that sounds. And this is just my unpopular opinion. Women are so entitled nowadays to a man's money, and I think it's absolutely crazy. The fact that you feel like a man is obligated to take care of your maintenance is just crazy to me, because my thing is, as a woman, I just feel like with or without a man, you should be able to handle your own. How was it getting done before he came into the picture? You should not be depending on a man's money to be able to take care of yourself. And y'all get mad and want to cut them off when they don't send you no bread, but baby, you probably just met him. On top of that, y'all probably just exchanged numbers less than 24 hours ago, and you already got your hand out. Now, if a man wants to offer, because there's a difference. If a man wants to offer to pay for these things, you know, for you, then okay, cool. But the fact that nowadays y'all are so gun-ho to just be like, give me your money because I'm about to go get my nails done, it's crazy to me. Y'all may not like it. I probably really don't care, but I'm just saying I'm tired of seeing it. That's just it.
I just saw a panel conversation where a woman is making the point that as a woman, she feels you should never give 100% of yourself to the man you're marrying. You should always keep 5 to 10% of yourself for you. Now, regardless of how she tried to legitimize that, I just want to say it is crazy. It is absurd that some of y'all don't understand that you don't actually have to get married. You 100% have the right to remain single for life. Why are you marrying men you don't like or that you feel you have to protect yourself against? I just want to put out there real quick that a prenuptial agreement is different than protecting yourself against someone. A prenup is basically when you are both on good terms, making clear, level-headed decisions about the existing, prior to marriage, existing assets that you have, protecting those from later issues down the line should things take a turn. That is different than protecting yourself against the person that you are marrying. If I have to keep 5 to 10% of myself away from my husband, he shouldn't be my husband. Like, why are we doing such a bad job at choosing, such a bad job at vetting, such a bad job at dating, that now it is to say you are almost certainly going to marry the wrong person. Therefore, you need to make sure never to give 100% of yourself to a man. At a certain point, we cross over into what is ridiculous. If you feel that way, newsflash, you are considering marrying the wrong person. Let that be the sign. Let that be the red flag that you pay attention to. If that is how you feel, don't get married. Or don't get married to that person. Or don't get married at that point.
The fact that I gotta sit up here and explain to you why you gotta send me gas money is the reason why I'm not seeing you again.
Girl, what? Bye.
The age of consent is 18, but I feel like if it were anything lower, you guys would be pushing, 16, 17.
Well, actually, you're wrong. The age of consent is in most states is not 18. But when we're talking about 18, men can be drafted out of high school at 18 and go fight wars for you at 18.
We weren't talking about fighting wars. We're talking about sexual
I
relationships
understand,
between
but
an
if we're
18-year-old and
considered adults at 18 to go fight in a war on your behalf,
If I could
why
choose
is it
that, I would
you think
say
that
no,
suddenly
too.
a woman is so incapacitated that she can't make a decision as to who she wants to date at 18 years old?
If I could go back and write the law, I would say no, we shouldn't be pulling 18-year-olds out of high school to go fight in war also. I would also object against that. I think it should be 21 as well. I don't think 18-year-olds are ready for that responsibility. So.
Sure, let's get a bunch of geriatric old soldiers. That sounds great.
Because 21 is
There's a reason that
geriatric.
So I guess, like the age of consent here is 18, but like in China, it's like 15 or even younger. Like I had a family friend, she was in her 50s, like dating a 16-year-old, and like they made it work, and it was pretty sick.
In what term the word sick?
Oh,
'Cause
like
I think we have two different. I think we're defining sick in two different ways.
So I was in a relationship where there was a lot of weaponized incompetence, and I asked for a divorce in April. And I have to say, I was with my husband on Thursday, and we had to get something done. And the way that he did it, like he weaponized incompetence himself. And I thought it was personal. I thought he was doing this to me. Are you men just like, what are you guys doing? How do you guys survive on this earth? Are you guys okay? You guys need to be checked on?
I thought a dude in the comments asked something that should have been asked from the very start. He said, out of curiosity, is it actual incompetence, or is it that he did things differently than how you would have done it? I'm just wondering, since you didn't give any examples. Exactly. And the women in the comments are just going off, acting like she said anything that makes him somebody that's incompetent.
Women don't want the responsibilities that men have, in the same way. They don't want to have to earn X amount of dollars a year. They don't want to have to build the roads and bridges. They don't want the responsibilities of all those things. So when they shout equality, what do they want? What is that thing?
Status.
Is it just status?
They're asking for status.
What does that translate to?
They're asking
status manifests how?
So inside of a woman's brain, or at least the women, the many thousands I've talked to, they think that sitting in a cubicle and crunching numbers or doing some other HR work or psychologizing on a couch is just as valuable to society as building a bridge. They think it's just as valuable to society as welding. They think it's just as valuable to society as warfighting. They think it's just as valuable to society as the things that men are doing, and it's not.
I woke up to a man with his bare balls on my back while he's groping me in my sleep after already telling him we're not more than once, 2, maybe even 3 times. And y'all are telling me, well, it's your fault because you were sending him mixed signals by letting him shower at your house. Are you cool? First of all, let's get this straight. There's no such thing as mixed signals when it comes to consent. And let me repeat that. When it comes to consent, there is no such thing as mixed signals. It's a yes or it's a no. I clarified before you got to my house. Yeah, you can come over, watch TV, watch movies, but just to let you know, this ain't that. We are not having sex, okay? You understood. I clarified, I verified, and I know you are a capable 30-year-old adult that can understand okay? So yes, I allowed him to come over. If you knew you were there I said we're not, that was your time to say, you know what? I'm just gonna go home, never mind. It was so easy. Also, why did I let him shower there? We have been out all day, y'all. So some people think we met that day. Some people think we met 2 weeks ago. We met a month ago. We stayed in constant contact and communication that entire time. We met up, went to Koreatown, got some Korean barbecue. On our way walking from Korean barbecue to a bar, I got some glass in my shoe. I didn't know it was glass. I put my finger in it to like sweep it out because I thought it was like the little dangly part of my anklet. But it was a piece of glass. It got wedged in my finger. Next thing you know, the side of my foot's bleeding, my finger's bleeding. That man's picking me up, carrying me everywhere so we can get first aid. We had been out all day. We were hot, we were sweaty. So when he got back to my house, he's like, you know what? Like, can I shower, please? Like, this is weird, but can I shower? Because he was hot, he was sweaty, his shirt was damp. I'm like, yeah, you know what? Whatever, that's cool. Let him shower and gave him some clothes. And even if I did have intentions on him, y'all, once I found out what his shower routine was, what I told y'all in that other video, I would have immediately canceled that. Like, it would have been off the table immediately. So no would have still meant no. He still would have been in my house. He still would have showered, and no still would have meant no. But anyway, I let him shower, and then I showered. We did not shower together. We showered separately. Okay, and then we sat on the couch and watched a bunch of TV, a bunch of movies, and then, you know, he started kissing on me, rubbing on me, touching on me. I'm like, okay, he's probably trying to initiate sex. Let me remind him. I was like, yeah, remember, we're not having sex. He acknowledged it. Verified. Probably even repeated it back to me. We continued the rest of the night. Fell asleep while we were watching a movie on separate parts of the couch. He at some point got up, took his clothes off, came over there on my side, cuddled up to me, and started rubbing on me. I woke up at 4 o'clock in the morning. What the fuck going on? It was actually 3:54 in the morning. What the fuck is going on? I'm like, no. Sit up, get the fuck, put your clothes on. Like, I don't know what the fuck. I said no. And I don't care if I said yes first. If I say no later, it still means no. I didn't do that, but I'm just letting y'all know. Last thing I'm gonna say is, I hate it when people be like, we too grown. What does we too grown mean? Grown people can still kiss, make out, touch, rub, do all that other shit. Y'all be wanting to skip steps, go straight to wants to do that. No, I don't be. Y'all can. There's many people out here who wants to. It's just not me. That is okay. Damn. God damn. A bitch can't even, try to go to first base. Maybe a little bit of second and stop. What's wrong with that?
I think what people are getting at, and I know there's a lot of people that are saying no means no, but what people are getting at is women continuing to put themselves in positions that lead to this type of stuff. And then when it actually leads to it, they want to wonder why. Then they want to say, let's put a complete stop to it. Full stop. Nothing's happening. Let's stop it all together. Like there's nobody around but you guys. Let's be smart about this. Okay, you can come over my house and shower and we'll start watching the movie. At some point in time, he needs to get up and go home. All right, I'll see you tomorrow, and leave. I mean, you can make the argument that you don't have to do that, but at some point in time, you have to understand as a grown adult, if y'all been kissing and touching and rubbing on each other, oh, I don't want to be intimate, but let's continue to make out. Let's continue to rub on each other. But I don't want to do any of that. I want you to turn your engine off. You guys act like you don't understand how biology works. You guys act like you've never taken a science class. Oh, well, you talking about you? That mean what you saying? Let me know that you're being okay with just taking advantage of a woman. No, you're not going to do that to me. Number one. Number two, I'm going to throw accountability right back in your face every single time. Don't continue to put yourself in a position to have things happen and then be confused as to why they would happen. A lot of these women out here put themselves in they create a storm and then they're wondering why, how, where is the lightning coming from? I don't understand why there's so much lightning and thunder out here. Well, you started a storm. This can go for intimacy. This can go for anything. If you're arguing with your man and you say things that trigger your man and he's like, man, why is he hollering and screaming like that? Maybe because you started a storm. Oh man, this man ain't paying. He ain't doing this. He ain't doing that. Were you rude to him? Why don't men approach? Did you have RBF? There's plenty of things that men can say as to why this might have happened. All without saying he should have done it. All without saying he had a right to do it. But let's step back and see how we got here. I know most women don't want to take any accountability. Oh, I said those. How did we get here? How did we get here? What did we learn? Use your brain.
About to do something crazy. I'm about to ask for men's opinion. Okay, and I don't mean that in like a mean. I fear it's gonna make me angry because I'm already there because of a man's opinion. Okay, so I'm a natural blonde. In fact, you know what? This video's for everybody because I honestly don't know if men can tell unless they have a trained eye. This video's for everybody. I'm a natural blonde. Okay, I was a bleach blonde when I was younger, and as I've gotten older, it's gotten a little bit darker, but not like brunette dark. It's like a level 8 somewhere around there, except for the back. The back is a little bit darker than that, like a level 7. I was already blonde. I was bleach blonde though. So I went in to go get my hair done today because I am trying to make it to where I don't have to go in as often. So my next appointment is not until November because I had her put in more of my root color in throughout all of this, okay? Because I was already a bleach blonde. Tell me why, when I sent the man I love the before and after picture, this man really said, which is the after picture? I know he's playing in my face. I know he is. I know he is. I know he is. I am going to put the pictures at the end of this video. Don't piss me off. I need you to tell me for real. I need you to tell me for real you see a difference, okay? I need you to tell me, like, be so for real, okay? I feel like maybe I'm going crazy. I'm gonna get the picture.
Why hasn't he noticed? Maybe because he's too busy thinking about how to take care of you and your kids a little bit better. So this stuff really doesn't matter.
The only kind of men who are strictly against, paying for a woman's this, paying for a woman's that, are men who have been used and abused in the past. Because a man who maintains that sense of like wanting to care for and provide, it's just a natural sense for men to want to provide and do. So when a man feels opposite, like, I'm doing that, I'm not doing that, she's gonna have to this, she's gonna have to this, it's because he feels like he's been burned in the past. It's because he feels like he did that so many times and it got him nowhere. So now he's like strictly against it. Strictly against it. That's the only reason. There's trauma there. Because a man is naturally in that state of wanting to care, because that's the man's number one goal in life, is to get a girl. He'll be willing to do whatever it takes. But when there's been, times where he's been taken advantage, he will nope, never dating a new girl. I'm not paying for you, nothing. Nah.
It could be this, but like some others have said in the comments, it might have something to do with a complete lack of appreciation. Somebody else said he just respects himself and his resources. It also could have something to do with him seeing what's been going on in the dating sphere and saying, you know what, I don't want to run into that, so I'm going to chill out. If this woman doesn't want me to approach, if this woman doesn't want me to be around her, then I'm not going to do it. If they want to be ignored, then that's what I'm going to do. When we get on these dates, I want to make sure that I'm not getting taken for whatever it is that she's trying to take me for. Well, you don't have anything. Great. So that means that maybe you can pay the full bill since I don't have anything and I'm broke.
So a guy asked me to go to this place called Quincy. I looked it up and I decided not to dress up because the place he took me to is literally just a middle range restaurant. It's nothing fancy, sure, it doesn't have nice food, but it's also 100 degrees. So why am I gonna drive myself crazy trying to get the perfect hair, the perfect makeup, and the perfect outfit when it's a mid-restaurant? This is just my opinion. What do you guys think? And I feel like I still look good, even with no makeup and hair done. But yeah, he seemed a little surprised that I wasn't dressed up, but he's not mad. He's in the bathroom right now, so I want to know what you guys think.
Of course, the women in the comments let her having it. Han said it takes the same amount of energy to throw on a sundress. Jennifer Lynn said, you're not dressing for the restaurant, you're dressing for him, but also for yourself. Steffi says, you don't need to dress up for a casual date, but a cute outfit, brush your hair, why not? I don't know. You do you. Laura said, zero effort and poor impression. Dang, they eating this woman alive. Wallflower. There's a lot of these comments. I could keep going. Wallflower says not dressing up is one thing, but a Hello Kitty t-shirt as an adult was not the choice. Okay, one more. Another woman said it's not hard to put on a better outfit than a children's t-shirt. Good God. Good God.
The reason men have those intricate handshakes is because they want to hold each other's hands for longer.
The dude said bald and still can't formulate a coherent thought.
I'll be 32 soon and I am still single. And I just kind of want to sit with how I'm feeling about it and talk through it, because overall I am pissed and I'm sad that I have not found my person yet. I'm sad that I'm spending another milestone without him, and what I'm also realizing is that each birthday as I get older means that more people who are around me are getting married, engaged, having kids, and so I'm feeling my singleness more now than I was when I was 30. Like, now some of my friends have kids, a lot more of my friends are in serious relationships, like probably going to get engaged soon, and so now is when I'm starting to feel like behind. I've seen some stories on TikTok that's like, oh, you know, it's worth the wait. I found my man when I was 40, 50, 60. And while that is all very well and good, and I'm sure I'll still be happy to find my person then, I really hope I find him sooner than that. When I pictured my life at 32, I thought I was going to be still living in New York in a really high-paying job with the husband of my dreams, who we were both obsessed with each other. And for the most part, all of my friends around me were also in relationships, and we were like kind of doing things at the same time. And as much as I know my timeline is going to be my own, it does kind of matter, right, with those around me. Like, I would love to be wedding planning the same time as my best friends. I would love to have kids at around the same time as them. I would love it if we could do those milestones together, because for the most part, we've done everything else together. It also sucks trying to just be happy for those around me all the time, for every wedding invitation I get, for every bachelorette party, for every pregnancy announcement, having to just be solely happy for everyone, well, without letting myself really kind of feel how I've been feeling. And so this 32nd birthday, I want to allow myself to just feel all the feelings and then process them and move on. I think DC is a good choice. I'm very happy I moved here. I think it's going to be incredible for me, and I really do think I am going to find my person this year, so that this will be my last single birthday, but I'm just allowing myself to feel a little bit sad this year.
You're in DC? There's a lot of places to go have fun. A lot of places to eat. A lot of places to just sit and chill out. Fantastic. I think a lot of times some of these women, I get it, you know, they want to be around their friends. It's a little cohort. I want to have babies, and I want our babies to grow up. I want us to grow old together. They want the same thing for their partner. We want to have a great life, us killing it in our careers, us killing it on the family side, just having a great life. And when that life continues to pass you by, it's like, man, that sucks. A lot of men are going through it as well. But there are a lot of men being made fun of and called, well, you need to get better. The male loneliness epidemic. I just said I wanted to have somebody. I wanted to have my person. Yeah, well, you're a terrible person. Okay, all right, cool. Y'all be safe.
To all the misogynists out there, why, when women talk about equality, your first questions are, oh, so we can hit a woman? Oh, so you guys should be drafted? It's really weird that your first thought went to subjecting women to violence. That's weird. And second, I don't condone violence, and I don't condone anyone being drafted, because I believe everyone should have bodily autonomy. Call me crazy.
No, I think it's actually because it's not really equality. It's sort of give me the easy stuff. Spare me the details. I don't want to know about all that stuff. You do the hard work. I'm just going to come in on the back end and just be able to test out the product, take the product, and then have fun with it. And men are saying, no, in order for anybody to get there, there's a certain amount of work that you have to do. And a lot of modern women are saying, I don't want to do that. Okay, then you're not actually equal. It's the man doing the majority of the work and you wanting to take the credit for it. I'm reminded of like a little moment in the Flintstones where Barney was outside building some sort of flying mechanism where you could paddle it and you would just take off flying, basically. Fred comes up and said, oh man, this is a great looking contraption. How do you work it? Let me fly it. And then Barney just kept on telling him, It's still under construction. These are the things that I need to do. Fred didn't want to hear that. Spare me the details. I don't want to hear about it. Just jumped on there, started pedaling away. And then Barney, all the while Fred is pedaling to that cliff, Barney's trying to warn, hey, you need this. You can't do this. It's still a work in progress. I don't want to hear it. Spare me the details. Tell me about it when I get back. Barney issued that final warning right before Fred went off the side of that cliff. Fred once again said, right before he went off the side of the cliff, spare me the details. I don't want to hear it. Talk to me about the details when I get back. Goes off the cliff, hurts himself, comes back to Barney, grumbling, complaining, hollering at him. Why didn't you tell me? I just went off the cliff. I hurt myself. Why didn't you warn me? I tried to tell you. This is what it looks like out here, but you didn't want to hear me. These are the details that you told me to spare you, and now you're screaming and hollering at me, telling me that I didn't warn you. This is what modern women are doing. Screaming, hollering, I don't want to hear the details. Tell me about the details when I get back. Tell me about the details when I get back. Come back, oh man, you didn't protect, you didn't provide. Men hate women. Men are just out here allowing women to do whatever, and they're not protecting them. I did. I tried to warn you. You didn't want to hear it. And that's why you're in the position that you're in today. So when a man says that, it doesn't necessarily mean he's misogynistic. It just means he's telling you it's a little bit harder out here. And you're going to have to take some of the same things that I did to get where I am.